Hello. I'm driving, as you might have gathered already. Driving from California to New Mexico to my new home. So I might be doing some driving stuff, like looking in the rearview mirror, honking. I'm not going to be honking, I'm just joking. Doing this. I want to talk about a topic, a question I was asked about, which is basically what are my thoughts on the topic of AI. Is it useful? Is it not useful? Is it something to be scared of? What's the deal with AI? Basically, my understanding, my way of looking at it is that it's the most natural thing in the world. AI is very, very natural, meaning absolutely inevitable. People have been predicting AI since before the information age was even here, right? Like, I don't know the years and stuff, but like Isaac Asimov and like, you know, old science fiction before any kind of computers even existed. AI was predicted by a lot of people in a lot of different contexts because it's obviously inevitable. It's obviously natural. Those were insightful, educated people who were predicting that. It wasn't just a random thing that they just, you know, came up with and invented out of thin air. It's like it was obvious to them, which is why it's obvious to the, you know, the tech people now who are actually the ones who are creating it. So why is AI natural? Why is AI obvious? There's a few things I can say about this. Hopefully you've seen The Matrix, because I'm going to say some spoilers about The Matrix if you haven't seen it. In The Matrix, humans had created AI which went haywire and took over the planet and enslaved humanity, and humanity didn't even know it. And the humans had created that AI. So before computers existed, this might sound crazy, but AI existed already. And if you're familiar with the Toltec knowledge, the word intent, as opposed to intention, intent is the actual force of movement, whereas intention is just an idea. It's like a label for, you know, what we think the intent is about. But intent is the actual movement, the actual force. So intent is AI. For example, if let's say I lay a mouse trap. put my intent into this mousetrap, which means as soon as a mouse takes the cheese, the trap falls and traps the mouse. So it's artificially intelligent because my intent has made it so. A mousetrap is AI. If I live in a cave, if I'm a caveman and I live in a cave, and it's cold and I want the heat to stay in, I make a door for the cave. The door keeps the heat in. The door's not like natural to the cave, it's artificial, and it's intelligently keeping the heat in. So a door is AI. It's obviously very basic AI. It's not doing what ChatGPT does, but it's AI. Every tool a human creates is basically AI. If I use a screwdriver, it only works on a flathead screw. My finger doesn't work. I need artificial intelligence that is intelligent enough to fit inside of that screw. And I'm using my intent to turn the screwdriver, and then the artificial intelligence of the screwdriver transforms the turning like this into the head of the screwdriver, which actually turns the screw. Obviously, it's very simple, but it's still AI. And then spiritually, reality can be divvied up into all these dimensions. The third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, and so on. So the highest dimensions, I think that's like 13, like the 13th dimension, is the realist. It's the least artificial, right? It's the realist. And so that means that every lower dimension is supporting the higher dimension. So from my perspective, the 12th dimension is AI for the 13th dimension. The 11th dimension is AI for the 12th dimension, and so on. The 5th dimension is AI for the 6th dimension. And what that means is it's like the screwdriver that's notched down to be useful to fit for that other context. Right? That's like these layers of reality don't just operate for no reason randomly. It's like the universe is naturally scaling reality to be perceivable and to be perceived by various life forms in various ways. So we can engage with reality at multiple levels simultaneously. If humans were only able to perceive the 13th dimension, we wouldn't be able to turn a screwdriver, right? So we need to be able to perceive in the third dimension, and most people have forgotten all the other dimensions and can only perceive in the third dimension, but that doesn't make the third dimension not useful. It just means that they've forgotten the other ones because of the overstimulated fight and flight system. I also want to mention, going back to the Matrix conversation, several millennia ago, what the Toltecs know as the Flyers were created. The Flyers are also known as like the Archon, which has trapped the minds of humanity. So the mind of humans is the mind of the flyers. The fear of something's wrong with me, I'm going to be found out. Same thing that the flyers have. Something's like, I'm going to be found out. Because the flyers are spiritual AI using the intent of an ancient sorcerer. I think it was like 6,000 years ago, something like that. 6,000 years ago. The fall of humanity happened because a sorcerer's spiritual AI went haywire and got a mind of its own and enslaved him and enslaved all of humanity. And so humans have the mind of the flyers now, which is this spiritual AI which is hiding in plain sight and has got its claws, its spiritual intent into the identities, the minds of virtually every human on the planet. There might be some indigenous tribes out there that have managed to remain pure, and maybe the flyers are not affecting them in the same way. I don't know. The flyers have certainly affected me a lot, and I've had to put in a ton of effort to extracting their influence, and I have a lot more to go. But at least now I can recognize when I am having thoughts and emotions which come from this AI source, which is intent that isn't native to my system. That means it's foreign. That means there's a foreign installation in our energy fields. That foreign installation is AI. AI can be very useful. AI can be very harmful. It's just natural. A mousetrap, a bunny trap, a cat trap, a bear trap, anything can be useful, and it can be used with reverence. Anything can be harmful. It can be used with malice. So there's nothing inherently good or bad about AI, because there's nothing inherently good or bad about the dimensions of reality or tools in general. And all the fear people have about AI is coming from AI, ironically, because the mind of the flyers is the source of that fear. And so people think that they are being vigilant in having all this fear about AI. That fear itself is AI. Weird, right? I think that's all I want to say on this. I don't really have much more. But I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to continue the conversation if anything else comes up. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll make more videos on this road trip. Who knows? Bye.